Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. I have been seeing everyone joining us from across the globe. Thank you so much for being here from India, Germany, Greece, Hungary, UAE, wherever you're from. You're heartily welcome here, and thank you so much for being here. We are super grateful. And today very special for us. And it was SAL, and today is even more because we are now communicating with you about what happened over the last week, sorry, over the last year, and also the last couple of months, which was so important for us. And also, today we'll be jumping into a very special thing, as you're already known to it, the ToolJet version 2.0. And there was a launch yesterday in Product Hunt, and now we are going with a demo where Shubham will be walking us through across different things on the new couple of features and some of the most important features that can help you all the time. Right. So before I begin and jump into it, I just want to quickly take back because we are only just a week into January, and now there is a lot more that what happened over the last year. That looking back into 2022, where we are at and what happened over the time, and also you'll be looking at what is Tooljet 2.0 in a couple of minutes. So especially for the community who are everyone who are here, and now we are super grateful to share with you these numbers means a lot for us. And also these numbers is also help us to keep us motivated towards attending more and more as we move on. So 10,000 plus GitHub stars over a year, and 15,000 plus merge, and 100 PRs got merged, and 1,000 plus installations and 200 plus contributors, which we hit it recently, and we are so happy about that. And 1,000 plus new Slack members from tooljet.com/slack. And then go check it out, and if you have missed out anything, you're always open to explore all of this. And then coming back to the content, which always helps you to progress with Tooljet, and also which also helps us to share our knowledge much better with you about how you could use Tooljet much more effectively all the time. So here over the year, we were able to progress and put for you the 33 blogs and then 26 video content that could always help you. But we are planning more and more are yet to come, and they're always with you as we move on. And then here we are with the community initiatives. So this year has been so great for us because this year gave us an opportunity to also experiment, learn, and also come back with more and more initiatives, which could also help us to learn more about how we could serve much more better for helping with Tooljet, right? So one of them was Demo Hours, where we collaborated with Bistro and tried to make an application like a Monday CRM that uses only two things, Tooljet and Bistro, and then you have a CRM, right? So there are a lot more coming up. We were able to do only one, but then look at the community calls. We were able to be on the streak, and then so happy about how it is progressing. And you look at next how community calls has grown in just a year over the time, not even a year, like five community calls. So if you're not known to community calls, these are a monthly catch up with our communities, which happens usually in the last Wednesday of the month. So when I say monthly, then you must assume that we have done it over the past 5 months, right? And then the Hacktoberfest, it's a constant thing which we always do. But then for the community initiatives, Hacktoberfest is also one of the major places that we engage and also get a lot of contributions, and we also learn as we move on. And again, as I said, let's look into how we have grown and also how the community calls has been helping over the time. So as you have seen, 5 community calls, and we are like 500 plus registrations right at this point of time. And then the average rating is 4.46, and the speakers, you should be always looking some constant faces over the time. But then we will try to bring you more and more content, and also much more engaging and helpful content for you or the community calls as we move on. Right. So then we have featured at a few places that we always want to share with you. So then here we are at some of the noticeable places that Tooljet has been at. So one of the places is like interacted with a few folks about Tooljet and the potential of low code and being an open source product. And also at the same time, opensource.com. I wish I had shared the link with you here, but you can check that out. You can Google opensource.com and Tooljet. There is a journey on how Tooljet has grown over time. And the other one, Tooljet has been featured at Stripe Dev Chats. So then I was talking to Cecil Philip over the journey of ToolJet, and also how we were all building an application at the same time. As you can see, there's a timestamp. It is around 1 hour 32 minutes of the video, which has a long run through and also walkthrough about how we can build an application right from the scratch. So these are the places where we are at. We thought to share with you. There are many other places, of course, but then limited, and sharing with you a few things that we always feel thoughtful. And then ToolJet on the ground, things have been online so far. We've been only stick to homes and working over the internet and working with the friends, colleagues everywhere, just from the Slacks or multiple channels across the internet. But then we have taken this opportunity to present ToolJet in a few conferences and a couple of meetups. But then here is a place where we are at India Force 2.0, and then the other place is a Hacktoberfest where we are presenting ToolJet as an open source product, to welcome the contributions from the community. So this has been so far. I squeezed a few things and presented into a separate categories to just give quick recap over 2022 and the initiatives and the numbers and what we have been through so far. Of course, we are super grateful, and also the challenges and the positions where we are at, and the new contributions, new features. Everything has been so far. You can also check out the previous community calls in our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@tooljet, where are a few couple of the past community calls. But then, as we move on, 2023 is here. It's just been a week, and then we are at the second week now. And what's here for us and from ToolJet, you already know that we are announcing the ToolJet 2.0, and I'm sharing on this to Shubham to help us walk us through and learn, to help us to learn more about what ToolJet 2.0 brings for us and what's in it.
Hey, thanks, Teja. Welcome everyone for the live demo event for ToolJet 2.0. I hope you guys really had a great new year, and we are hoping that you know about ToolJet 2.0. You must have followed the live event on product live launch on Product Hunt also yesterday. Today we are taking out some time to showcase what we have built so far, to showcase few top features of this launch. What are these features represent, why we built it, and how they work it, right? We'll show a small demo of it. We'll not go in depth about building a huge app or something, which we generally do in our community calls, but in this call we'll slightly touch on various large features, right? We'll quickly share my screen to begin. Cool. So yeah, Teja, am I my screen visible? Yeah. Okay. Cool. So ToolJet 2.0. So to quickly recap, basically we have been working for the past 6 months on releasing this mega version of ToolJet 2.0, where we would sort of build lot of features which are requested by our customers and community members over 2022 and 2021. The idea is to earlier we used to do small releases and kind of present these features incrementally, but this time we thought that we'll build a lot of value together, so that there are less bugs and there is a lot more synergy in the product, where we can think about how these large pieces sort of stick together, right? So that's why we took us some time. We battle tested the product against various use cases, tested with few customers, few pilot customers also, and then sort of released it to the world, right? So without further ado, I will sort of share the features. So first feature is which was requested a lot, was ToolJet database. So as we all know, earlier ToolJet is basically providing a front end layer, and we connect to various data sources to kind of showcase that data or present that data in various forms of dashboarding, or kind of interact with data in your own data source through front tooljet UI. But now we want to add the capability of sort of having a tooljet database itself. What it enables is that you really don't have to bring your own database, right? And it makes even faster to kind of build an application, because tooljet database is can be used right off in the app. You don't really have to spin a separate pgsql or separate any kind of database, and it saves a lot of effort from DevOps or engineers, right? So this tooljet database is built on top of relational database, PGSQL, and we sort of provide a way for you to operate this PGSQL right from your browser without having to have any DevOps knowledge, having to have any sort of knowledge to connect it with front end drivers, having to install any packages. So this is right in your browser, which can be connected to your app as well, right? Second is multi-page application. This is also one of the features which was requested a lot by our community members to build complex applications. Right now, every tooljet application has sort of only one page where you can put various components, arrange various components in various using various elements, right? Table, forms, buttons, and stuff. But you cannot divide or logically divide your applications in different pages, right? So with this multi-page application option, you can create infinite pages, a lot of pages and sub pages inside tooljet application, and you can logically divide your applications, logically divide your use case into the application, so that it becomes easier for you to scale that application later on, right? Third is a form component. This is also one of very highly powerful and useful feature, where you can use a form component right out of the box in tooljet. You can also build forms use yourself using different inputs, buttons and stuff, but having it from right out of the box really saves a lot of time for the developer who is building this application, right? You don't have to sort of wire the validations. You have a out of the box way to submit the form, and so basically it reduces the time, even by it sort of reduces the time by 90% to build a form, right? Then definitely the fresh UI. We have totally revamped the UI, a bit of UX also, to make it much simpler for anyone to develop tooljet. It is better looking, it is sort of more refreshing into the eyes as well. Fifth, the final thing is Python support. Why Python? Because lot of developers who are data scientists or analysts who wants to churn a lot of data and use that data in tooljet applications required Python support, because Python has a lot of libraries, a lot of packages which has good support for data analytics folks, right? So that's why we sort of are have Python support now. Now you can transform your data using Python, or you can build or write your own custom logic in Python and wire it with the UI of the application. So yeah, without further ado, I would sort of start and give you a small demo of each of these functionalities. Uh, so we'll start with the UI first. Definitely, you can see the UI. This is the dashboard, which is now there in 2.0. Earlier, the dashboard had a very different outlook, very different view. So, in our opinion, this looks much crisp, cleaner, and has a very well-defined workflow also, right? They're very well thought placement of various features, various elements. For example, to start the UI, on the top left you see a drop down or a place where you can switch your workspaces, right? Earlier it was not so apparent, earlier it was not so easy to kind of explore switch workspaces, right? So you can create workspace from here, you can switch your workspaces from here. Then you can create a new app from here. You can manage your apps and folders. Then there is a left toolbar which sort of divides the product. Now this is a dashboard for apps, and now there is another tab where you can go and see the database. So this is the database product I was talking about. This is a simple UI where you can create tables, you can add data in tables, and you can edit your tables. So let me quickly create a table. Let's say I want to create a table to manage user data of my application. There is an ID, there's a primary key already populated for you called ID. Then let's say I want to capture the name of my users, my varchar, then I want last name, again varchar, let's say an email of the user I want to capture, and I want to capture the status of the user. Is the user active or not? Let's say I keep it as false as default and I press create. Simple. So as easy as it can go, we have created a table, and now consider creating the same table in PGSQL manually. Obviously, seasoned developers can create it very fast, but people who are new to coding or people who are not so familiar with PGSQL or any kind of relational database will have certain problems in reaching step till here, which we have reached in like quick seconds, right? We can create data here simply by clicking on add new row. Let's say I want to create a user. Let's say I want to create a user for Teja. I can simply create a user for Teja here. And I can say, if you remember, we had given status as false. Now we can say that, okay, this user is active, and simply create the user here. Done. Simple. So we have gotten the user here. Let's say I quickly create another user for myself. And let me mark myself as active as well, and here you go. Done. Okay. Yeah, seeing some latency. Okay, done. So we have two users here already in the table. So it was as simple as that. We can create more tables, anything, right? Now quickly, now you'll ask, like, how am supposed to use this table in ToolJet application, right? So very valid point. So here we have created data. Now you can simply go to your applications. Let's say we can create a new app here. Let's I name my app as ToolJet employees. And now I will simply create a query, like we create queries to access any external database. We can simply create a query to get data from ToolJet database. Now you don't have to create a source here because those are external sources. ToolJet database is internally sitting in your system. So this you can access directly from here. You select ToolJet database. Now you can simply select the table name, which we created, remember, users. And let's see what operations we want to do. Let's say we want to list data, right? And let's say I want to change the name of my query as list users. Query name updated. Let's say I want to limit. Created the query here. Okay. Somehow my internet is a bit slow today. Unfortunate. Okay. Till that time, we can sort of create a table to list these users. Okay, there seems to be, okay, we have, I guess, found some bug in our latest version. Happens, or is it the internet? Not sure. I think it's the internet. Hello, is it the app or me? Okay. Uh, Sorry, guys. Am I audible right now? I think there was some issue with my internet. Unfortunately, Teja, can you confirm? Am I audible? Okay, cool. So sorry for the delay, folks. I am really sorry. Some really troubling thing happened with my internet. Seems. Okay. So we created the query, and let's preview the query here again. To recap, we were doing a query to create. We were creating a query to list down all the users which we created in ToolJet database. So let's say I'll name the query as list users, and I save it and I preview it. On preview, I can see here that okay, I can see that okay, in the preview I can see the data which we created. We see that it's here. Now all we have to do is just link this query with table, and we are good to go. Rewriting queries dot db1 dot data. Right. So after running the query, you can see the tooljet UI front end table automatically detected the keys or the columns which were created in the database table, and fetched those columns, automatically populated them, and linked the data using this query in the table. Right? So you can see how powerful ToolJet database is. Instead of bringing your own database from PGSQL or hosting it yourself in some server, you can use ToolJet database directly from our application. Or in certain cases, people would still use their own database but would need some quick database also to handle creation of these applications with external data sources. So a conjugation of both external databases and tooljet databases could be really really powerful in building complex applications, building complex business logics, right? So that could serve really really important use cases. Cool. So this was quick overview. I'll give you again. In tooljet database, you can just simply access you can create tables, you can upload data, you can create data in the tooljet database. Then you can link that database in your any new application, and in this application you can create query can be linked to tooljet database as usual, like you link external database, but it's a lot easier. and then you can sort of use it to kind of populate the data in any kind of UI you want to build, right? So that's the beauty of ToolJet database. Now quickly moving on to second feature, which is multi-page feature. So here you can also see that the UI of ToolJet application builder has also changed a bit. We have added certain options. We have changed ordering in the left toolbar and in the top toolbar a bit. In the left toolbar, you can see a new option called pages. Pages is nothing but an option to give you a optionality to create more sort of pages in your application, right? So here you can see the first the application comes with a default page called home page, and in this home page you are creating this application. Let's say I want to build new pages. Let's say I created a new page called user page, right? So here you can see this, it's like switching into altogether a different application. A new canvas is given to you, but those two pages are linked in the same application, right? So you can create anything now in this second page. You can, let's say, again create a table and showcase some data here as well, right? So if you want to see how it looks in the actual app, you can preview it from here, and it's taking a bit of time. Okay, okay, here we go. Well, almost. Okay, here we go. So in the left side, you can see there is a menu now. In the menu, you can see all the pages which you have created. There's a home page and there's this user page. Both these pages are there. There's no data because I think we did not wire it right. We did not trigger the app actually when this data has to be thrown into, right? So yeah, this is there. So in page, you can see there is a menu now. In the menu, you can see all the pages which you have created. Areas of the application builders, like when we it can be attached to the whole of app, it can be attached to any component, so it can be attached to any event or page also. So let's say if there is a new page which is getting loaded, so if we want to link it with something, we can do that. We can run a query on that. We can, let's say if we are loading this, okay, let's try here. Let's say if we are loading this page and we want to run this query so that we can see the data, we can simply do this, right? Let's wait it for save. And now if we go to home page and we sort of refresh and see the home page, yes, the query runs now automatically because we attached the event called page load. So on every page load, this query will be run, and that is how you will get the data from the backend and show it in the front end, right? So yeah, this is all about the pages feature. Basically, you can create as many pages as you like and then logically divide your application into different pages. What's road ahead? We are planning to build a very robust role based access for these pages also. Like you can create a situation where some of the users or some of the application users will have access to some pages. Admin has access to certain right pages. non-admins have certain access to read pages. So you can divide your complex application into various parts, give access levels to different users on basis of different pages. So this access level, again, I'm repeating, is not right now available in the product, but this is something which we plan to do in the next few releases, right? Do let us know if this makes sense for you, if you really want to have such a feature, and it definitely would prioritize it much faster, right? uh, right now, okay, so let's create a new let's see the next feature. Let's say we call it form component. Form component is nothing but an encapsulation of various input components like text input, number input, and various actions like submit button, right? So if you were to create a form component from scratch, you would have to add all these components all by yourself, implement a validation on these separately, and if you want to submit a form and check for these validations separately or in combination, then you'll have to write a query, a custom query to check for these validation. Let me show you how. For example, let's say this is a text input inside the form, and I want to add validation of, let's say, minimum wealth of a length of 5, right? And if this let's say I add another text input here, right? And I say that its minimum length is 4, right? So basically, here I need to add two validations. I added two validation, and I need my form to submit only when these two validations are true, right? So in this button, in this form, there's always already a button which will submit the form, and you can decide this button from here. In form component, there is a property to select which button sort of submits the form, right? And once you submit the form, you have an event called on submit, and you know how what to do after that. Once you have on submit event, you can attach any query and create any data in the backend using a query, right? So this is that simple. Now if, let's say, I try to write something here and see my validations are incorrect, so not submit. Wait, let me show you. See, if because both the validations did not pass, it showed me a alert invalid data because I had linked an event called on invalid, which we fired if even if one of the validation is failing. Let's say if I fix this validation, if I try to submit, it will still throw me invalid data because one of the validation is failing. So this is that simple now. Earlier, let's say if you want to build everything from scratch, it would have taken you a lot of time. You would have to write custom queries to check these validations. Let's imagine a place where you have 20 fields, 20 input or 30, 40 input fields. It happens, a lot of people have such kind of data to input. Then it becomes really hard to implement these validations manually. Now these validations is taken care of by form component itself, and it becomes super duper easy to kind of use forms and create data in your own database using forms. You can obviously use this form to create data in ToolJet DB also. You can just create a query from here, and let's say this table, and if you want to create rows, you can simply create data from here as well, right? So this is now that simple, and the combination of form component and combination of form component and database is actually super super helpful, and would really be reducing the development time for a lot of enterprise business applications which are built for internal users in a lot of companies, right? So yeah, this is there. And to give you a just sneak peek of what Python support is, we can go to, yeah. So here, like you could have, you must have seen earlier that there is something called run.js, where you can just use run.js and write any JavaScript code and connect it with any logical flow in the application using events or CSS. Now, similar to that, we have something called run Python code here, where you can write any Python code here and run that and link it with any part of the application. So trust us, it's very powerful, especially if your application is a bit data heavy. You want to do some mathematical calculations, data modeling, such kind of use cases where Python comes in handy, and ToolJet will be able to support that really, really well, right? So this is about that. Also, just wanted to, while we are here, want to highlight that we have done a lot of changes in Query Manager in general. So earlier we used to get a lot of complaints where Query Manager used to behave in abrupt manner. It used to sort of lose data in certain cases. But now almost all those cases have been identified and fixed. We have spent a lot of time in sort of reimagining and refactoring this Query Manager. So yeah, do let us know how does it work for you, and if you still face any issues, would be happy to help and fix, right? Cool. More or less, I think I'm done. Definitely, there is lot more which we have done in this update, but obviously won't be able to cover everything in this short call. Would definitely, you guys can definitely check out our release notes on GitHub, where you can see all the features, where you can see all the updates, and definitely, obviously, you can give it a spin. We still have a very simple try ToolJet Docker statement, which you can just play around with and have a spin and see how it works. Or you can obviously, more easier version thing is to just log into cloud version and check out that directly, which I am myself doing right now. Cool. I think that is it from my side. Would leave last few couple of minutes which we have in the time for any kind of question answers. Would love to have any questions if you guys have. Anyone, please feel free to share your questions. Over to you, Teja.
Yeah, I do not have any questions. So I'm looking for a couple of questions yet to come. So I was asking them in the chat as well. So there were a few appreciations, and we are thankful for that. But then looking out for any thoughts and suggestions, and also for any feedback. Shubham is here so that we can address them right at this point. Okay, so here's another question. Uh, okay, compared to AppSmith, what are some of the advantages from ToolJet?
Yeah, interesting questions. Uh, it's a bit hard for us to comment on any other product on this platform, right? We really would love to talk about ToolJet more on this platform, and would not want to say that if we are better than somebody else because of this or that. I think that's really unfair to anyone, even if it's a competitor, right? And so yeah, AppSmith has its own powerful things, I'm pretty sure, and we have our own powerful things. Somewhere we might be, overlapping, somewhere we might not be. In general, we believe that what we launched in ToolJet 2.0 as a product is very powerful. The way we see it, the way our consumer customers need or show their requirements. I think the combination of ToolJet database along with the existing app builder interface, and whatever on top new features we add or new components and data source we have, is a powerful combination for a lot of use cases, for a lot of industries where tooljet is used on regular basis. And so yeah, I think everyone should, like, if anyone of you has a certain thought process that okay, we need such a feature in tooljet, it would be powerful, we'll be happy to listen to you and brainstorm with you, if it makes for tooljet sense for tooljet. But yeah, definitely for now, we feel that based on the feedback of our community members and customers, we believe that this tooljet which we have right now is a very very powerful product.
All
Cool.
right. So there is one more question. So Shivam, it's to you again. If you're able to read it, does ToolJet has environment set up as well, like dev and production, and does it have a switch that you can toggle between?
Yeah, definitely. So in this update only, we have released a feature where you can toggle between various environments. There are three environments which we provide by default, which is development, staging, and production. All like self-explanatory what they mean, and every app can be toggled in these environments according to users, right? So every app can be functioning in all three environments parallelly to different users. So let's say there's a developer who's working on developing the app, there's a QA who is testing the app on staging, and there's a, let's say, some delivery manager who is checking the production ready app, or end user for that matter who's using the production ready app. They can all coexist and use these app use this particular app parallelly on all three all three environments basically. Just to add, this feature is right now available only in enterprise edition of tooljet, and not on community edition, but yeah, that's we do support that.
All right. So there is one more regarding the ToolJet DB. So what is the roadmap?
Nice question. So ToolJet DB right now is a very nascent product. Is a very it's sort of a bit bigger than MVP, but this is also just a tip of the iceberg. I would say it has very basic functionalities of, it follows very basic CRUD basically. You can create a table, you can read the table, you can update the table in a very basic functionalities. But we want to go in depth a bit more, providing making it more production ready. For example, small things, like bulk updating the data into the table, probably exposing the APIs to upload the data from APIs, right? Right now you have to manually upload the data, but what if we want to import the data from somewhere else using REST API? Then there are a whole lot of features on role based access. Right now, only admins can access the creation of basically can access the tooljet database from the backend, and for front end, like app users can still do that, but for backend only admins can do that. So there are a lot of things which can be done on role based access level things, right? So basically, we want to make it more flexible, in short, for developers and development teams to use it, make it more production ready. Yeah, probably that's how we are looking at it. if we were to divide the two main categories, one would be on the access levels. Second would be make it more feature rich, more more friendly to sort of work with, right?
All right, so we have a couple of questions coming in. So I would just highlight here so that you could see it
Yeah.
and then read it.
How about integration to ERPs? Like most of the time, business have these solutions and they won't. I'm not really sure what sort of exact integrations you are looking for. For example, with SAP, we do have data source integration with SAP HANA, where if you have data setting in SAP HANA, you can sort of use it as a data source in ToolJet and build apps on top of it. Um, M365, I'm assuming, is Microsoft 365. Again, we don't have any integration with Microsoft. I think ecosystem right now. We do have integration with Google Suite, like Google Excel and stuff, but not with M365 right now. But we definitely would want to do this if you really have a use case, then please do get in touch with us. We would happy to discuss the use case and build the solution and build the integration with you for you.
There you go. So here is one more.
I'm asking, but what would the approaches accessing the if we use different tools to change the data in there? I'm asking because I saw that. But what would the approaches accessing the post? I assume that you're trying to ask that you want to change the data on the ToolJet database from outside, is what I'm assuming you're trying to ask. I'm sorry if I understood it incorrectly. Right now, it is not possible, but we, as I said in my answer previously, that we would want to increase the accessibility of ToolJet database definitely, either updating it through a REST API or updating it by uploading it, or we also can have integrations with something like Zapier, or where you can connect it with some sort of webhook and update the tooljet database internally, right? So definitely that's the next thing on the roadmap, how to increase the accessibility of tooljet database, and make it more available from the outside world also, so as to make it easy for people to sync it with external applications. Definitely, that's on the roadmap.
There you go. So Prince,
Uh,
are you
Yes,
working on any?
this is what I mentioned in demo also, Prince. This is definitely on the roadmap. This is one of the next things we would work in Pages functionality, where different users can have different pages will have different access levels. So there's a possibility that one page can be accessed by one group of users, and another page can be accessed only by another set of users, or one page can only be accessed to admin. So different pages, different access levels. That is definitely next thing we would be working on.
Okay, that was related to the previous question on the login page.
Yeah, I think that is it.
So Prince was extending the question and giving an example here.
Yeah, I think we have answered it. Prince, if
Great. Okay.
it's not clear, feel free to have a follow-up question.
Yeah, you can jump into the Slack here and also post that into the general so that it can be extended. And then, yeah, that's totally fine. And then, yeah, so Marcel has another question here, maybe related to the previous one.
The Yeah, the pricing is custom code, and this custom code is also for SMB. It's not like if that means that if it is custom code, it is going to be not suitable for SMBs, right? We work with a lot of SMBs, and the idea is to deliver a value based pricing, right? So we believe that once we understand the requirements and once we understand what users or customers need actually, then sharing a pricing is making sense. And um, we have certain parameters only, and it's not like it's a infinite kind of a jig where we charge large companies more and small companies less. So there is nothing like that. It's just a very pure value based pricing we feel is valid, and we have very fixed parameters. Would be happy to discuss in over a quick call if you want. You can feel free to reach out to us, and we would be happy to give you a quote for whatever your requirements are. It largely depends on your users and what features you require. It's not very complex, honestly.
All right. So that is the last question that I can see so far. But then, okay, so then if there are further more questions, you can post it right now. But if you think you would need a further discussion about it, you can join the Slack. If you're already there, you can post it in the general channel. And if you couldn't, if you're not aware, there is a Slack, you can join it at tooljet.com/Slack again. And then once you be there, you can post it directly in the general section, general channel of the Slack workspace. Okay, so Marcel was thanking and thank you so much. So again, Prince has another question on extending it. Maybe if you could address that.
Mm, extending another new feature at the page authorization, would that be an enterprise self-hosted version? It will, honestly, I don't know yet. uh, but it will be available. It should No, I don't know, honestly. Haven't thought through that much yet. But since we have, just to give you a more idea, that all the authorizations features till now has been present in community edition also. We have not added any authorization feature specifically for enterprise edition till now. All of it is available for everyone. So yeah, probably this will follow the same thing.
All right. Thank you, Shubham. So once again, we are keep welcoming you to post the suggestions or questions or feedback in the chat. But if you then happen to drop us some feedback, which will always help us to improvise as we move on. So I shared a Google form with you in the chat. I hope that is clickable. You should be able to open a single field. The Google form I just created, and it's with a single field which asks for the feedback. So you can type in and just send us what do you think and what we can improvise more upon, and we will definitely work towards that. So then, yes, so I'm just highlighting the link here. Anyhow, it's too hard to remember, but then it is always in the chat there, so you can just click on that and then drop your feedback before you move on. All right, so I don't see any further questions here in the chat, but then, as always, you can still drop it, and then Slack is the fallback. We will be here for 2 more minutes and then see if we have any other questions. Else, we'll be winding off. Thank you, Prince. Thanks for all the interesting questions, and I hope you to see you in the Slack as well, discussing more on different things.
Thank you, everyone. It was great discussing the demo with you guys. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you so much for listening to us. I hope you all liked version 2 of ToolJet, and we'll be looking forward to improvise this more upon. But then your feedback is always valuable for us. And then do join the Slack and also let us know what do you think in the Google form that I shared as a part of the feedback. All right, I'm just sharing it one more time so that it will be accessible for you to drop any comments or feedback. So then that's pretty much it. And thank you so much. We'll see you in some other
Thank
time in
you.
a different.
Bye bye.